You don't have to have a problem with alcohol in order to quit drinking, which was a beautiful lie that I told myself because I did have a problem. So I just hit my 8 years sober, and I wanted to share 8 things that I've learned in these 8 years and that I've gained from this journey of sobriety. The biggest thing is the power of choice. So I actually did have the power to choose each decision rather than continue to think life was just happening to me. Once I got rid of alcohol, my whole life didn't change and become better and all of these wonderful things that sobriety can lead to. It just opened a door of opportunity for me to deal with the shit I wasn't dealing with. I was able to figure out what my goals, my values were, and align my actions and my choices with those so that I could actually be the person I wanted to rather than continuously stuck in that cycle. So giving me the power of choice was a huge, huge thing that sobriety gave me. Now the second thing is valuing authentic relationships. I had the nickname the ambassador of fun, and I was always going out. I was working in the bars and the clubs, and so I could get anyone in any sort of section and through any sort of door, so people loved me. Once I took away the alcohol, I had to either figure out how to have true connections with those same people, or if there really wasn't a connection, then to find the people that I can have those deep and lasting connections with. Starting out on your sober journey, you can feel really alone. You can feel like no one understands, you're in this all by yourself, and finding a community, a person, a digital group, something where people can understand. No one's gonna live the life that you have lived, but there's always gonna be someone who can empathize with you, who can understand you, who can make sure you feel that you're not alone. And having those really great, true and real relationships is so incredibly precious in life. The third thing that I realized was I really am a strong person. I was constantly running. I would get overwhelmed with bills or responsibilities. My house was never clean, like all of these things. And I was just constantly distracting myself, running and escaping these things. So finding out that I actually did have that strength within me to deal with these, the resilience that when stuff comes, because life will throw you challenges. That is part of the journey. You can't have a life that doesn't have challenges. It's just non-existent. So being able to understand and believe your true power, that you can handle all of those things, was not something that alcohol supported, at least for me. Now the fourth thing I learned is the beauty of being present, just fully engaged in the moment. When I was drinking, I was constantly either thinking about where I was gonna go after the situation, what I was gonna do that night or that next day. If this place I couldn't get drunk, where can I go and get that connection, that escape, that fulfillment from what I thought booze gave me. I could never actually just be. My family noticed it. They told me later that I was always somewhere else. And it doesn't always have to be alcohol that can get you into that place of not being in the moment, but being in the moment can give you gifts that nothing else can. And one thing that alcohol did is it's such a distraction, and we all can have those things, but being able to be uncomfortable actually is truly a gift, because kind of going back to the last thing, sitting there with these uncomfortable feelings proves to you that you are strong, that you can handle difficult situations. So just being able to be present, no matter if it's wonderful or very uncomfortable, but that is truly, truly a gift. The fifth thing I learned was self-awareness and growth. Now, understanding who I wanted to be, who I am, and the choices and decisions needed to get there. And understanding that growth is part of life. You can't just continue to think that things will stay the same. Being able to grow, being able to learn is such a wonderful, wonderful thing about life. Now, I gave myself rules and agreements of how I was going to continue my sober journey. And one thing is I was constantly making excuses or being unreliable to myself, to my work, to my friends, to my family. So I made the agreement to myself that I would never lie, especially to me. So if I said, I'm gonna go to the gym, I had to make sure that I followed through on that. If I didn't know if I for sure was gonna go, then I couldn't make that agreement with myself. I couldn't give my word that I would do that. So having that self-awareness to say I will always have integrity and I will never lie, especially to myself, is something huge. And when you're constantly distracted and drowning yourself in booze, you can't make that commitment to yourself or other people. The sixth thing that I've learned is true self-worth and self-love. I would say the biggest driving force for me to get my life into that state that I didn't think was really manageable anymore was the fact that I didn't feel like I was enough. I didn't feel worthy, and I didn't feel like I deserved a better life. So I would continue to self-sabotage and to put myself in situations that would just solidify that within myself. See, I'm not enough. See, this is why. And forgiveness is such a huge, huge part of being able to get yourself to that point where you truly, honestly, in every cell of your being, believe that you are worth it. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive your past. And you have to forgive those that created situations that got you to that point too. So being able to forgive is a huge, huge part of that self-awareness and growth. And making sure that when you focus on yourself, that's not selfish. You can't show up to the world with your cup half full. You have to be able to pour into yourself so that you can show up and live the purpose and the passions that you were put here to do. But you have to make sure that you're your best self. You have to eat right, make sure you're healthy, make sure you're not burning the candle at both ends, because you won't be able to fulfill these things that you know in your soul that you were put here to fulfill. The seventh thing that I've learned is the importance of preparation. I was never prepared. My car was never clean, my house was never organized, and especially financially, I was never prepared for the unexpected. I would get a paycheck and think, okay, my bills are paid, now I can go blow the rest on social activities, and then all of a sudden something would happen to my car or my computer would go out or whatever it was, and I was just never prepared. So then that once again just kept me in that cycle of being a victim. I was constantly, why did this happen to me? This doesn't happen to other people, or this doesn't happen to people who have more money than me, so why me? Why me? Well, that just continues that cycle of, well, poor me, so now I deserve a drink because this huge thing happened to me that I wasn't prepared for, and so now I'm gonna go and once again self-sabotage and get myself further away from any person or goal that I want to be. And the eighth thing that I've learned in my 8 years of sobriety is that I do deserve my dreams. I am worth it, and I am enough. Now that took a lot of work. I would write it on my wrist, or I even found a ring that said, I am enough. And not ever feeling like you're enough continues that cycle of, well, I might as well go be a shithead. I might as well disappoint other people, because why not? I don't deserve anything better. I don't deserve a different life. So truly knowing and working at it every day to believe that I deserve my dreams. I deserve this life. I deserve to be able to heal enough that I'm not filling that void within myself with alcohol or drugs or meaningless conversations and connections. I deserve to live my purpose, to be able to help others, and to experience wonderful joys and fulfillment in this life. So if you have ever thought that maybe you want to quit alcohol for 90 days, maybe forever, go ahead and just leave a comment. I'd love to have a conversation.